Alright, now, as you probably tell, I'm not feeling 100% today. Alright, so you're probably, if you're watching this video, you probably want to mute it, so otherwise I'll put you asleep. Just watch. I hear a lot of sniffles. Now, the three things you need to find in problem number 4, what you're doing in your journal, is the discriminant, the nature of the roots, and the actual roots. So we're going to be using, everybody, we're going to be using this thing called the quadratic formula. Now, I'm not expecting you to memorize it, but I am expecting you to be able to use it. We're going to be doing number 4, but I want you guys in your journal, you can do it at the very top of your page if you wanted to, at least, write down the quadratic formula, which is negative b, plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2 times a. Now, this formula only does one thing. It finds roots. That's what it does. Yes, once again, those papers that crinkle, that was Elise. She was crinkling the paper up. It's okay. Yes.
What is it called? Okay, it's not a practice problem, but it's an example problem.
All right. This formula, set it equal to x. This is solving for x in the quadratic equation of ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. Where a is the coefficient in front of the x squared, b is the coefficient in front of the x, and c is just that constant at the end. So if we look at our problem, problem number 4, our equation is written as 4x squared minus 4x minus 15 equals 0. So in order to use the quadratic formula, we need to know what our a value is, what our b value is, and what our c value is going to be. So we're going to do a in blue, I'm going to do b in red, and I'll do c in green. All right? So I'm going to highlight a in blue, b in red, and c in green. So Ryan, now when I say, what's my a value, you'll say?
4.
It's 4. Very good. If I say b, what is it, Jordan?
B,
Negative 4. If I say c, what's my c value? Negative 15. You have to be able to identify what your a, your b, and your c is. The first thing that you always do is solve for the discriminant. Right here. This right here, this part of the quadratic formula, right here. This part, the b squared minus 4ac, is referred to as this value called the discriminant. So whenever you're solving this, you always start with the discriminant first. So we're going to start with the discriminant, everybody. I'm going to write down b squared minus 4 times a times c. We're going to see what that is equal to. My suggestion, when you're doing this, when I plug certain values in, plug them in, and then you can use the graphing calculator to help you solve it. So right here, I'm going to start with my b value. Then I'm going to plug in my a value, and finally, last but not least, I'm going to plug in my c value. So when I plug in my b value, Myra, what am I plugging in for my b?
Negative 4.
Negative 4. What am I plugging in for my a value? Denise.
No.
No, not you?
No.
Okay.
And 4.
4, correct. How about c? You want to go with c?
Negative 15.
Negative 15, I like. All right. Hey.
I don't know what
Stop putting pressure on her, okay? I know you're trying to help her. Now, Jordan, what's negative 4 times negative 4?
Negative 8.
No.
Positive 16.
Positive 16.
Oh,
The negative times the negative
okay.
equals a...
You just have to look at the paper.
Oh, no.
Actually, that's a false statement because I didn't have to calculate it.
All right. Man, you got to go back and forth.
I still heard that it was
I better pause this before it gets ugly.
Leave it
I'm
on.
just kidding.
Leave it on. They must stay awake.
Right. So negative 4 times 4 is a negative 16 times a negative 15 gets me to a positive 60. No, 180. No, wait, that's not right. It's 240. I apologize. That'd be 240, right? Okay, so I'm doing this in my head here. All right? So 240 is the correct. Yeah, so look, even I made a mistake, Jordan, see? But I corrected my mistake before somebody got me. All right, now, we add those together, what do you get? 256. Now listen, this number, everybody, that we just found, okay? This b squared minus 4ac. Yes. So guys, for problem number 4, could you put that 256 for the value of your discriminant? Yeah, we're only doing one day. You got to know how to do this to get on to the next part.
Wait, what was that?
The discriminant right here, right, is 256. Now, that gives me important information. All right? This is a positive number. It's greater than 0. So what do we know about our discriminant? I'm going to go up here so you guys can see. I can't. There we go. Right here, our discriminant was what? 256, which is technically greater than a 0. So that means we have what?
2 real roots.
2 real roots, which means right here, nature of the roots, you would write 2 real. 2 real roots. That's what you're going to write down. All right? The last thing we're going to do, everybody, how do we know it's 2?
Crosses X. X is twice.
So over here, we have a graph that looks like this. Look up here. There's a root. There's a root. If it's greater than 0, you're going to have 2 of them. All right? Now, you go back right here. The last thing you have to do is you actually have to solve for it. Okay? So right now, we're going to rewrite our whole quadratic equation. We're going to do it again. Quadratic formula. Negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2 times a. By the way, what was our a value again?
4.
What was our b value?
Negative 4.
And our c value was negative 15. Now notice, I'm not going to rewrite everything because what did we already find right here? We already found that. So what am I going to plug in there? 256. There we go. Negative. What's my b value?
4.
No. Negative 4. Plus or minus the square root 256.
Divided by 8.
2 times a. Yes, it will eventually get us to 8. We're plugging things in because we want to make sure that we get everything right. Now, Myra, you said 4 because you already did a negative times a negative, which makes it a positive 4. Plus or minus the square root of 256, which is actually a, thank you, Ryan, 16. Okay, 2 times 4 gets us in 8. So I need you guys to understand, this part right here simplifies to the 16. Yes, we're still going further. This part right here became the 4, and this part right here became the 8. Now, what you guys have to do next, hold on, Ryan. Okay. What we're about to do next is we're going to separate it into 2 independent equations that you need to solve. 4 plus 16 over 8. I'm watching myself right now. All right. The next thing I want you to do is 4 minus 16 over 8. Hold on, let me pause it. See, answer your question. All right. So right now, thank you, Ryan, for the knocking on the desk.
I was testing the microphone.
Good. It works. All right. 4 plus 16 is 20 over 8. 4 minus 16 is negative 12 over 8. And yes, both of these can be reduced because negative is by 4. So it gets us what? 5 over 2. These are both divisible by 4, which gets us a
Negative 3 over 4.
2. Now, our solution set, everybody, is a negative 3 over 2, comma, 5 over 2.
Is that our root?
Those are the roots. That's where it crosses the x-axis. All right, that's our answer. Now, Jordan, after you write that down, do you have the original equation on your paper?
Yes.
All right, so check this out. If you wanted to check it, you can hit y equals. Tell me the original equation that we started out with.
On the paper.
Yeah, on paper.
4x squared.
4x squared
Minus
minus 4x
minus
minus 15.
minus 15.
All right. Now let's check our answers. This time I want you to check the table. And what was one of our roots? What's one of our roots that we got?
5 over 2. We got negative 3 over 2.
Good. Negative 3 divided by 2. So we'll check that. Thank you, Jordan. There we have a 0. All right. Second window. Check the other one. Ryan, you said 5 over 2, right?
Which is what? Yeah.
2.5. There it is. 2.5. 0. So they both work.
Which I love it.
All right. Now listen. This is the process of checking your answers. All right. This is the same process we're going to do. This will be the last video right here. I'm not going to do a video over the next one, but you have to do the exact same process every single time.